Somewhere on almost every restaurant menu, there's a dish sitting near the top of the price list that the restaurant fully expects nobody to order. It's not a mistake. It's not there to actually sell. It's there to change your mind about everything else on the page. Menu consultant Greg Rapp has spent decades helping restaurants design their menus, and he's been remarkably open in interviews about exactly how deliberate this is. Nearly every element, the layout, the wording, the pricing, is engineered with a specific psychological outcome in mind. The trick with that expensive, rarely ordered dish is called anchoring. Once your brain registers a $45 steak near the top of the menu, the $32 option 2 lines down suddenly looks like a reasonable, almost moderate choice, purely by comparison. Without that anchor sitting there, $32 might feel steep on its own. Next to $45, it feels like the sensible middle ground. This works because your brain rarely judges price in isolation. It judges price relative to whatever nearby number it saw first. Shift the anchor higher, and everything below it quietly starts to feel cheaper than it actually is. Restaurants aren't hoping you'll buy the expensive anchor item. They're counting on it sitting there, mostly untouched, quietly doing its real job in the background. There's a second trick working alongside it, called the decoy effect. Imagine a menu offering a small popcorn for $4 and a large for $8. Most people pick the small, since $8 feels like a lot for popcorn. Now add a medium popcorn priced at $7.50, barely smaller than the large. Suddenly the large, at just 50 cents more, looks like the obvious deal. Sales of the large size climb sharply, not because anyone wanted more popcorn, but because the decoy option made the large look like the smart choice by comparison. The decoy itself barely sells at all. It doesn't need to. Its entire purpose is nudging your choice toward the option the business actually wants you to pick. Menu design goes further still. Studies on eye tracking have found that diners' eyes tend to land first on the top right corner of a page, which is exactly where many menus place their highest margin items, the dishes that cost relatively little to make but sell at a healthy markup. Even the removal of dollar signs is deliberate. Research from Cornell University found that diners spent noticeably more when menus dropped currency symbols entirely, listing prices as plain numbers instead. Something about seeing an actual dollar sign appears to trigger a small mental flinch, a brief reminder that you're spending real money, that a bare number skips right past. Descriptive language plays its own quiet role too. Dishes described with specific, evocative detail, think slow roasted or locally sourced, have been shown in research to be perceived as higher quality and worth a higher price, even when the actual dish behind the words hasn't changed at all. None of this requires deception in any legal sense. Nothing about it is dishonest. It's simply built on a well-documented understanding of how people actually make decisions, then arranged deliberately to steer those decisions toward specific outcomes. Which puts an interesting spin on the next time you sit down and pick up a menu. That layout in front of you likely wasn't arranged for readability. It was arranged, item by item, price by price, word by word, to guide your eyes and your choices in a very particular direction. The menu was never just listing what's for sale. It was quietly deciding, well before you sat down, what it wanted you to think was a good deal.